Hello, everyone. Come on in. It is Act Now Live. Happy New Year, everybody.
Hello there. Happy New Year.
All right. So we are going to go over just a few logistics here. I hope everybody had a great New Year. I'm going to put our YouTube channel and have Reg talk about that real quick.
Yep. So we are on YouTube, everyone, and we just want to remind you to go out and subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you press the bell so that you get notified when we drop new content. Right now, it's our show that we put out there, but we're planning to add more content this year. So you want to make sure that you don't miss it.
Yeah. All right. So let's take that down. And all right. So, we had, let's just say hi real quick to Mary Campos. Good to see you. Happy New Year to you too. We wanted to talk a little bit more about just, diving a little bit deeper into some core values and beliefs talk, but really because it's surrounding mindset. So we had talked, and we're going to walk you through our entire book for the year. So if you stick with us for the year on our Act Now Lives, we are going to literally spend 1 month on each chapter. That's our plan anyway, and have, a special guest like how we had special guests before. So this month, we're really going to focus on mindset. And I wanted to read the quote that I put here in the post, but also it's in the first chapter that leads to the first chapter of our book. It's a quote by Ghandhi, and it says, "Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny." And so I know Reg and I just absolutely love this quote. Obviously, it has a lot of things in there that are very important to us, such as values and action, but really the last thing too is the destiny. We are here creating this movement to get people to take action to reach their greatest goals and dreams. We have been where you are. We constantly continue to work hard to push each other, and we want you to be there with us as well. So we really wanted to focus on mindset and talk a little bit more about some values and beliefs as well. So Reg, what are your thoughts so far before we kind of dive into some of our different points and takeaways that we have for everybody?
Well, this is my thing. This is one of my jam areas. Like, I love talking about who you are. And in order to understand who you are and what you want out of life, you've got to connect into your values, your beliefs, and assessing whether those beliefs are serving you well, or are they hindering your ability to move forward, hindering your definition of success. And then, of course, understanding what your purpose or mission is. What is it that you're here to do? And reminding yourself daily that these are the things that are your North Star. They guide who you are to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah. And it starts with, beliefs and values, because that's what's going to get you to your personal mission statement, maybe your personal statement that you have, or your business as well, that statement. So we wanted to spend some time today talking a little bit more about what exactly are beliefs. I mean, I know that we can sit here and define it, and if you want to join in, put it in the comments, some of your thoughts as we go through this. But what exactly is a belief? What are beliefs? I looked it up as a definition, so I wanted to just kind of read this off here. And a belief is an idea that a person reveres as the truth, which is also in our book, and it's viewed as a reality whether or not it is actually true. So I love that part, because people believe what they believe, right? And it's one of those things where you believe so much in it that you start to think that it's reality and that it's true. And some beliefs that are yours might not necessarily belong to other beliefs as well, right? But I believe that it starts here, is really trying to figure out, what do you believe in? We had commented on this post too, do you believe that you can fly? It starts with the belief in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And some most times the beliefs that we have, whether they're good or bad, um, they are things that we picked up in our childhood,
Mhm.
right? And there are things that people have given us. So whether we got them from our parents or a mentor throughout our lives, or another family member or friends, these are things that we adopt along the way,
Mhm.
and some of them serve us very, very well, and others not so well. So it's important to assess them and to understand what they are, so that you can filter out the ones that aren't serving you well, because those
Mhm.
might be toxic and they're literally stopping you. So those are the ones you want to get away from and change the narrative on. You want to reframe the belief to something that is more supportive of where you're going. And then, of course, the ones that are serving you well, keep those around and make sure that they are in the forefront of everything that you're doing and trying to achieve.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to kind of touch upon what you said is reframing those beliefs, because a lot of the time, so this is the reason why, beliefs are really important in just kind of developing your mindset too, is there are a lot of self-limiting beliefs. I know that when you had met me, I was introducing myself as just an audiologist, and that's all I, thought I went to school for, and that's all I was good for, and things like that. And I was limiting myself, and you pointed it out to me. But there's a process in identifying these self-limiting beliefs. I mean, you definitely want to identify them, write them down, take a look at maybe why, you might have that belief. Like you said, some of them come from just growing up, and in childhood, right? And then even writing it down in a chart where you can write it down, maybe figure out why. And then the last column would be something like reframing it. Like, how can you get over this self-limiting belief? So I love that. And I think it's super important when you're developing this mindset to head into a new year.
Absolutely. The changing the narrative is one of the most
Mhm.
important things. I was reading something this past weekend, and it was really about sales and growing your business idea. But at the heart of it, the very first pillar to success in sales is the mindset, dealing with the mindset. Same thing when you're talking about almost anything. You've got
Mhm.
to address where you are in your mindset. And mindset deals a lot with this notion of beliefs, and how we're holding ourselves back, or maybe even self-sabotaging,
Mhm.
because of the beliefs that we've held on to for so very long. And many times we don't even recognize that we're holding on to a particular belief that's self-limiting or self-sabotaging, because we've had it for so long.
Yep. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, too, that you live in this reality where you start to believe that it's true, even the
Mhm.
self-limiting ones, right? And so we really want, I think you're totally right, changing that narrative, maybe even reaching out to somebody like, an accountability partner or somebody that you trust to say, okay, this is what I've written down, or this is what I believe, and they can set you straight. I mean, they will definitely set you straight, like Reg did for me, on some of the things that could be self-limiting. And like she said, you might not necessarily know that that's what it is. But if you have some outside kind of feedback, of course, someone that you trust is key, right? And someone who wants to see you succeed is also key. Then that might help you kind of reframe if you're so stuck in this reality of not being able to identify, what might be harmful even to you, because you continue to walk down this road in believing in that. So
Mhm.
okay, so we defined beliefs. Now, I don't know if this scares people or if this excites people. When I put up something like, what are your core values, or what are core values? So I did also look up a definition for this too, because people are like, I don't know. Like sometimes if you're not really focused on it, you might think, oh my goodness, I'm not too sure what should be a core value. So I looked at this up, and a definition of a core value is the fundamental belief of an individual or an organization. So when it applies to individuals, it's the guiding principles that dictate behavior and help make decisions, or it's how you conduct yourselves or how you perform your work. Then, as a business or an organization, it helps companies decide if they're on the right path and fulfilling their goals. So, depending on if you're kind of defining that as an individual or as a business. So, I'd like to kind of dive a little bit more into maybe as an individual. Let's work on people first. And, where do people start in identifying their own core values?
Well, I think I think this applies to both businesses and individuals.
Mhm.
I look at values as what is important to you. What are the things that are most important to you? Those are going to be your core values. They're going to lead you to your core values. And when you can understand what those concepts, behaviors, because it sort of crosses boundaries. It's not, we refer to it as a thing, but it could be a concept. It could be a behavior. For example, a lot of people look at loyalty as a core value.
Mhm.
That's a behavior. Integrity. That's a behavior. Concepts are things like love. I mean, one of my core values is love, and that's a concept. So, what is it that is important to you? And that's going to lead you to what your core values are. Now, narrowing down the values. So, normally I take people through an exercise of let's identify the first 20, and then let's go through and break that list down to something smaller until you get down to the top 5, which are your core values. And those are the things that guide your life and help you to make decisions.
Mm-hmm. And I'm putting up this list of words to kind of get people just thinking about it. It's a pretty long list, obviously, but, there's so many. And I love how you broke it down into sometimes it's a behavior, right? And sometimes it's a concept. So I love that. And, again, these are just some. I just wanted to put up this list real quick, not to overwhelm people, but to know that there's so many out there that, it depends on what really is your core values. And I know that Reg had a really great way of breaking this down so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And it was something about starting just by identifying like your 5 really, I would say the core, right? Values. And then even if you have some that are kind of circling around, you can still have them as I don't know if it's called subcore or how you explained it to me. I forgot what it was.
I call them supporting values.
Supporting values, yes. And still have those because they actually support your main core values too. So she sort of kind of taught me how to do kind of 5 main or core values and then possibly having that 5 supporting values as well.
And let's talk about that just a little bit. What did that do for you, Natalie, when you really identified your core values and you realized, oh my gosh, these are the things that are probably most important to me? Mm-hmm. What did that do for you in terms of decision making and prioritizing? Did it help?
Yes, absolutely. And it's one of those things where sometimes, like I would say, maybe more of behaviors were something that I was kind of pulling out, like integrity, authenticity, things like that. And I was having a hard time being okay, either saying yes or no to things. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know why I was going to do it, And once I was able to define those core values, it made it a lot easier and it made so much more sense having those core values in my head written down where I could say, it's that question that I asked, does this support the life, right, that I'm trying to live? And it was either a quick yes or no. It became super black and white for me. And not only did it become black and white and I had that clarity, but I felt so much better answering yes or no, whether I was going to do something or not. And time and energy is also a core value for me, right? And that's more of a concept. So, it's one of those things where defining that, bringing that clarity, really, like you said, helped me prioritize what I needed to focus on, what I needed to say yes to, what I needed to say no to. And I did not feel bad about it at all. So that's what it did for me.
And that's great. The fact that it brings clarity, that's the first thing that's really important, because when you get clarity on that, then it opens up this path that just seems like it's suddenly lit for you, and you can make decisions. I always say that you put decisions through a filtration system, through your values filtration system. And what it does for you is it relieves you from some of the stress that you create by taking on things that aren't supporting your values and your goals and the things that you want to do going forward. You know, that feeling of, oh my gosh, I just said I'm going to do this thing, whatever this thing is, and all of a sudden I don't feel really good about it. Well, that's because you're out of alignment with your core values. The moment you know what your core values are and you learn how to have that clarity and apply it to the decisions you make, it takes so much of that stress and burdensome feeling off of your shoulders. And oh my gosh, that in and of itself makes things so much better when you're just living life.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. So we really want to stress, to try to sit down, maybe examine and assess. That's one of the first things in our ACT acronym is assess, but really assess what your beliefs are and what your core values are. This is one of the first steps to really getting that mindset together for 2021. And so we're going to try to pop on every week, try to keep it to a very short, maybe 15, 20 minutes. So hopefully you can join us within that 15 to 20 minutes on our show. And we hope you can join us for the rest of the year, because I'm so excited. We're going to be able to walk through every single chapter of our book. Every month, we're going to focus on that, walking through that book. And so maybe you want to ask, how do you keep connected to us? Well, we have a couple of different ways that we wanted to talk about. First of all, don't forget, if you haven't been able to join our email list, join our email list and get your free Take Action checklist and your 5-day e-course. And I've got the link there for joining the mailing list. Or grab our book on Amazon and you can follow along like the whole year reading this book, jumping on when we have our live shows every Sunday, 3:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Or we also have our private Facebook page. If you just look up ACT Now in the Facebook group pages, or this is the Facebook page, but we also have a Facebook group page that's private to engage with us on that Facebook group page. And the last one is we have so much planned for you guys. So stay tuned for any upcoming networking events that we're going to be doing, or we might be doing some different further groups that we're going to be providing for you. So just stay connected with us so that you can have that accountability throughout the whole year with us, for you to take action with us on this movement. All right. Anything else that you want to say, Reg?
No, I just want to say, well, yes, I want to say that this is the beginning of the year, and it's so important. As a creative, we know that we've connected so much to creatives, and as a creative, you've got these ideas. There are so many things you want to do, and there are probably many of those that you haven't taken action on. And this is about helping you get past that point of being stuck and making this the year that you actually take action on that thing that's really important to you. You really want to do it, getting you past the fears and the struggles and all of those things that have stood in the way. So we are on your side. We want to help to keep you accountable. We are cheering you on, because at the end of the year, we want to see all of those amazing things that you guys are producing and doing that are going to impact the world in an amazing way. So
yeah, we're so excited. It's only the beginning of the year.
I know.
Yay.
Yeah.
So happy New Year, everybody. It's great to see you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And we will be back next week with a whole new episode. So come join us.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.